all about the power.
On September 11, 2001, 4 commercial airliners were hijacked by 19 militants who were working for the terrorist group Al-Qaeda. 2 of the planes crashed into the Twin Towers at the World Trade Center in New York City, 1 crashed into the Pentagon in Arlington, Virginia, and 1 that was en route to the U.S. Capitol crashed into a field near Shanksville, Pennsylvania. In total, 2,996 people were killed and over 25,000 people were injured. It remains by far the deadliest terrorist attack in U.S. history. Much of what happened that day is ingrained into our minds, whether it's people who witnessed the events transpire in live time or people who were born after 9/11. We've seen countless videos showing the Twin Towers being hit and subsequently collapsing. We've seen the people jumping from the towers in a desperate attempt to escape the smoke and fire that had consumed the inside. And we have heard the last phone calls made by people before they died. There were many heroes that day, such as the firefighters and police officers who rushed people to safety and went into the burning towers to rescue people. 415 emergency workers were killed in the attacks. There is also Todd Beamer and the passengers of United 93 who revolted against the hijackers that had intended to crash the plane into the United States Capitol. The passengers of the plane, led by Beamer, overran the hijackers and caused the plane to crash into an open field in southwest Pennsylvania. They sacrificed themselves to save many other lives. Beamer's last recorded words of "Let's roll" became a rallying cry for people recovering from the attacks. In the aftermath of the attacks, it was a rare moment in which the entire country was united. Everyone was grieving, and while the country was devastated, many people came together to remain hopeful and cheerful for the future, and to honor the heroes who lost their lives to save others. In the time since the attacks, the country has become more polarized than ever, but people still come together to commemorate the attacks and the near 3,000 people who lost their lives. Everyone alive on 9/11 was greatly impacted, and that is something everyone can relate to. Time passes and memories fade, but we will never, ever forget September 11th, 2001.
Extreme weather is striking all over the world. Some events, like wildfires sweeping the western U.S., are seasonal, while others came as a total surprise. China and Western Europe were both hit by devastating floods in the past week, with the death toll beyond 100. In wooded areas of Canada, the U.S., and Russia, vast swathes of land are ablaze. At the same time, Germany, Belgium, and Austria were dealing with the aftermath of devastating flooding that collapsed houses and turned roads into rivers. Oregon is battling a fire so big that it can be seen from space and is creating its own weather. Canada, too, is battling wildfires. Nearly 300 fires were burning across the province of British Columbia on Tuesday, and evacuation orders affected around 5,700 people. Canada recently had its hottest day ever in a heat wave so severe it caused hundreds of deaths and boiled shellfish in their shells. Forest fires have burned through 3.7 million acres of land in the northeast of Siberia. Smoke has covered cities and towns and forced the airport to close. One person living in an affected village told The Guardian, "Emergency workers have come and villagers are also fighting the fires, but they can't put them out. They can't stop them. Everything is on fire." The countries most vulnerable to climate change are calling for an emergency pact to tackle rising temperatures. The Climate Vulnerable Forum, which consists of countries in Asia, Africa, the Pacific, Caribbean, and Latin America, said progress on limiting the impacts of global warming has stalled. It wants all countries to agree to a climate emergency pact at the upcoming summit in Glasgow to protect those most vulnerable. The pact would involve every country putting forward a new climate plan every year between now and 2025. It's difficult to directly attribute individual weather events to climate crisis, but experts are clear that long-term shifts in climate caused by human activity are making such events more frequent and severe. Fortunately, climate change is solvable. We have technology. We have science. We now need the leadership and the courage to change course. Simple solutions include saving trees, less use of fossil fuels, use more renewable resources, and much, much more.
As we attempt to return to our regular lives, our government is attempting to return back to its typical boring self. And for many, this spells disaster. As of September 4th, 3 major unemployment insurance programs: Pandemic Emergency Unemployment Compensation, Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, and Federal Pandemic Unemployment Compensation, all established by the CARES Act, are coming to an end. This is leaving an estimated 7.5 million Americans without any governmental economic support, while the Delta variant cases are on the rise and lockdowns are spreading across the nation. This may all seem confusing and like you have no idea what any of this means, so I'm here to break it down for you. So what is the CARES Act? The CARES Act was originally established by the Trump administration in 2020. It was an emergency program in order to supply economic relief for American citizens who had lost their jobs or were going through hard times due to the pandemic. Under the CARES Act, there was 3 economic relief programs established to help take the stress off families, the first of which being the Pandemic Emergency Unemployment Compensation Act. This provided additional assistance to those individuals who had exhausted their state law unemployment benefits. In other words, it gave extra support to those who were already on unemployment. The second act was the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program. This aided unemployed individuals who had been put out of their jobs due to the virus, like independent contractors, business owners, and self-employed workers. The third and final act coming to an end was the Federal Pandemic Unemployment Compensation. This initially provided $600 per week as a supplement to the benefits provided by the state. This meant that the government was sending out money to support everyone who was living in the pandemic, so no more free money for anybody. Taking away these acts will either help or harm America. Maybe it will kick people back into gear and into the workforce, or it will cause economic collapse throughout families who cannot afford life in this pandemic. Only time will tell.
On August 16, 2021, the Taliban took control of Afghanistan. The United States military had been in watch for around 20 years. This action caused the United States military to pull from defending the territory. In the process, there were 13 American troops and many Afghans that lost their lives. They lost their lives during a suicide bombing in an airport. After the United States began to withdraw troops from Afghanistan in mid-August, the Taliban took over. The Taliban takeover has begun to force the Afghanistan out of their own country. As they are leaving their country, they are making their way into the United States. As they make their way, they are being located in places like Maryland and Virginia. Maryland Governor Larry Hogan said that the state is ready and willing to take on additional Afghan refugees. As the Afghans continue to make their way into the DMV, several local nonprofits and organizations are now stepping in to help them start a new life. Bags of clothes and non-perishable foods are some of the items. Many Afghans worked alongside the American military, government, and other groups to help defeat the Taliban. That work has put so many of them at great risk. Now that the United States is withdrawing, many people want the Afghans to have a fresh start and a great life in America.
Mental health affects millions of people around the world every day. Anxiety and depression are some of the most common types of mental health. There are 275 million people in just the U.S. who are diagnosed with anxiety. Anxiety and depression in the U.S. has increased from 36.4% to 41.5%, and those unreported have increased from 9.2% to 11.7%. Living with a mental health is hard, and you never really know how hard it is until you've lived with it. Today, I'm here with Heather Shaw, who, like me, faces a mental health problem every day. First of all, just want to thank you for doing this. I know it's very hard to talk about mental health out loud and everything. So what kind of mental health do you have?
Anxiety, I would say, is what I would simplify it to.
So how has that affected your education at all?
It's made it difficult to ask for help and to go up and present projects that I need to present and to turn things in and stuff.
So I know you're interested in art and animation and drawing and all that kind of stuff. So how has anxiety affected that process?
Once again, very difficult to show people stuff and be like, yo, cool masterpiece I just made. But it's also made it easier to be able to express emotions and stuff like that I feel with anxiety.
Would you say it's easier or harder to make friends with a mental health issue?
Easier, because like you can bond with like that sort of understandingness.
Okay, so is there one thing you want to tell everybody out there?
I do have commissions open for like art and stuff, so find me and work out pricing and stuff, but I can't say I can get it done fast.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Mental health is hard, and sometimes you feel helpless and alone. If you or someone you know is suffering or you think are suffering from a mental health issue, call your doctor or reach out to a trusted adult. Remember, you are not alone in this fight. Don't give up because eventually it gets easier. If you or a friend feel like giving up, call the Suicide Prevention Hotline at 800-273-8255.
Number 2.
With over 2 decades of big league success, the former Yankee shortstop, with a reputation for shining when the stakes were at their highest, will be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. More than 19 months after being elected into the Baseball Hall of Fame in a landslide, he received 396 votes on the 397 ballots cast, the second highest percentage in history behind teammate Mariano Rivera, and 13-plus months since his induction ceremony was postponed because of a global pandemic. A career .310, .377, .440 hitter, Jeter collected 544 doubles, 260 homers, 1,923 runs, 1,311 RBIs, and 358 steals in the regular season. Logging a 7.2.4 career WAR, Jeter played the equivalent of a full major league season in the postseason, batting .308, .374, .465, with 200 hits in 158 career playoff games. In addition to his instantly recognizable highlight reel moments, his leadoff homer in Game 4 of the 2000 World Series, the 2001 flip play against the Athletics, a bloody 2004 dive into the seats against the Red Sox, a homer for his 3,000th hit in 2011. Jeter has put together a career of memorable moments that fans will remember forever. Jeter was one of those athletes that are just hard to root against. Derek has done everything that a baseball player should do, said former catcher Jorge Posada. He played the game the right way. He played the game to win. He played the game with no excuses. I saw it from day one. I thought he would be a Hall of Famer. From the flip play of 2001 to the iconic jump throw, Jeter has given us a lifetime worth of highlights and incredible moments, moments that will go on to live forever in Cooperstown, New York.
Hello, I am Tino, Barone, and today we're going to be interviewing freshmen on their view of high school sports. And now we're on the scene live to some interviews. Hi, I'm Tino, and I'm here with
Nathan.
Hi, Nathan. What grade and what sports do you play?
I'm in the 9th and I play football, high school.
All right. How excited are you to play high school football?
I'm very excited to get to meet new people and play with my friends, and I'm overall really, really excited to play this Thursday.
All right. How did you prepare for this upcoming season?
Grinding, practicing, running, playing plays, and yeah, it's overall fun.
All right. Thank you, Nathan. How was the transition from rec and sport?
Good. I think it was good because of the coaches who helped us out.
All right. Are you excited for high school football?
Yes, because it's like one big family playing together.
Okay. Last question. How did you prepare for the season to come?
I came to summer workouts and the coach helped me one-on-ones and showed me how to do all the stuff.
All right, thank you. From freshmen around the school, and coming from a freshman, I am pumped for this year's athletics and what could happen. But for now, I'm Tino Barone, and I'll see you next time.
Vercoe, and I will be covering Patuxent boys soccer this season. Last week, the boys traveled to North Point for a scrimmage. It was a hard-fought battle, but the boys fell off short. The boys played very good. North Point was a very strong and fast team. They also had lots of big kids who were huge compared to our team. The first half went extremely well. Everybody was playing well. The defense was very strong, and the attacks had good ball movement. In the second half, the boys were not connecting or communicating. The defense slowly started to fall apart. Also, the boys were not getting the ball up the field. Finally, the game came to a close. North Point 5, Patuxent 0. Now let's go to the next part where I interviewed the starting defensive mid, Jackson Harding. I'm here with Jackson Harding. What is one strength and one weakness you have?
I would say a strength is definitely game IQ. I know who is around me at all times and where to go with the ball. One weakness would definitely be probably power with the ball. Guess I need to hit the weight room a little bit more.
Are there any goals you would like to accomplish with this team?
Definitely over 500 record this year and a regional championship.
What is one strength and one weakness that your team has?
Strength is definitely speed. We have a lot of speed out on the field. And weakness is definitely focus. We lose focus a lot.
Thank you for the interview.
Thank you for having me.
That the team is very fast. I hope to see us have a great season this year.
18 months at home in PJs and only putting them on the appropriate top for video calls was the new normal. But recently we have transitioned from that to returning back to school. And to prepare for that, you probably had to go shopping. Around the school, I have noticed a lot of new trends and old-fashioned trends brought back. Different combinations, different styles, and a lot of different colors. Some trendy clothes, shoes I've saw so far as oversized jeans, fishnets, oversized shirts, graphic tees, and shoes are Air Force's platform shoes, and a lot of 90 and 80 looks. The reason I wear oversized jeans and other clothing I named is because transitioning from home in baggy PJs to coming to school, I still wanted to wear baggy clothes and comfy stuff. The purpose of this segment was to let you guys know all the different trends and styles around the school.
The class of 2022 hasn't had the high school experience that they were expecting. I mean, after all, a pandemic took the back half of their sophomore year and a majority of their junior year. But now things are starting to return to normalcy. And just to get them back into that state of normalcy, Patuxent hosts an event for the seniors that has never been hosted at Patuxent before. The Senior Sunrise was an event unlike PAX has ever seen before, that happened before class on the first day of school. While the idea came from Mr. Watson, he gives credit to the idea to Annandale High School in Fairfax County, whom he saw having their Senior Sunrise on the news. He thought it was a really cool concept that would hopefully become a tradition at PAX, and he, along with senior class sponsors Ms. Powell and Ms. Sandusky, as well as other admins such as Mr. Powell, Ms. King, Ms. Rickwood, and Ms. Bell, pulled this together to make the seniors' last first day one to remember. With at least 130 people in attendance, despite starting at 6:15 a.m., I'd say it was a pretty big hit. But don't take it from me, though. I'll leave it to those who were there to tell you how great it was.
And so my first question for you is, how does it feel to be a senior this year?
I genuinely feel like these last 4 years went by way too fast, and freshman year I feel like it was yesterday, so it's not given.
It feels pretty unreal. I still can't believe it's my senior year. I'm happy to be back in the building for sure, not online or doing hybrid.
It's definitely unreal. Like, it doesn't feel right. I feel like I was like ripped off with not having last year in school, and I'm not ready.
So what was your initial thought of the Senior Sunrise?
I was really excited because I saw a bunch of other schools posting about it, and like I've seen things like on Instagram and stuff and pictures, and I was really excited that we were like having that opportunity to do something different for once.
I really enjoyed it because it it made you feel like you were going to school on the first day. Then it was like, you got to wake up early, so you kind of, you were with your whole class. And I'm also grateful for the teachers that brought the food in, because there was a lot of food for us, and they did not leave us go hungry.
Right. So, what did you think of the senior sunrise?
It was very fun. Just to go and be with the whole senior class. It was just very exciting. So.
Okay. What was it like? What was the sunrise like?
It was really fun. It was chill. We all just kind of went and ate breakfast, and they had it like set up really cute. They had like our numbers on the scoreboard, which is super cute. And we just took like a lot of pictures and just had a good time.
Wow.
So I showed up around 6:20, and there was a bunch of people there, more than I expected actually. And it's still kind of dark out, but the sun is like right behind the trees and stuff, so it was slowly coming up. And then like you all just like sat with your friends and kind of just waited for the sun to rise. And when it hit like 7 o'clock, you kind of just left for class, and you would eat donuts and like juices and yeah.
The actual sunrise, it was really nice. There was like a good crowd of students, I think, and they had like a nice little like breakfast of like donuts and stuff, and just like really just hanging out with our friends and just getting that bonding time before we started our senior year together.
That is so awesome.
It was very fun, and the food was very good too. So, yeah.
So I guess my next question is, was it worth it to go to?
I'd say so, yeah. I think it made the first day a little bit more special because, you're like, yeah, I'm so tired. They're like, why? Because you went to the senior sunrise, so it was just something to like, yeah, I went to the senior sunrise because I'm a senior. You'll do it next year or whoever.
For sure. You try to get every chance you can to go to stuff like that as your senior year, to go out. So, yeah.
My final question for you is, did it really like put it into perspective for you that you're going to be a senior this year?
Yeah, it put me into a reality check because I haven't been in touch with reality with being a senior before that happened. Mr. Forrest gave us a little speech, and it was just like, damn, I'm really a senior.
I think it did put it into realization. It was like, wow, it's just us here, and they had like all the twos for the class of 2022, so just like put everything into realization, and I just hope they continue this tradition for more students.
So as the sun rose on the class of 2022, the beginning of their final year at PAX begins. And until that sun sets, they're going to be here, doing great things, and making PAX a bigger, better, and stronger family.